Peace, peace. This is Brother Faheem, and you are now tuned in to the League of Logic podcast. You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the League of Logic podcast. Man, another great treat that we have coming up. Another wonderful interview, man, from a world-renowned interviewer, man, a brother that's near and dear to my heart. Let me go ahead on and give the introduction. So, my man is a father, husband, business owner of Keke Hicks for real basketball development training, motivational speaker, player development coach, AAU coach, and God fearing man. Uh, we have Mr. Keke Hicks for real, Keke for three, and what I affectionately call him, Marquis Coach Keke Hicks. Coach, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Good to see you. Good to hear from you, man. Good to be
Oh,
on.
yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. You know, you're one of my favorite people, man. I'll give y'all a little bit of info about Coach, but you know how I met Coach, just on Instagram, man, and looking for good people with good energy, with great skills, and Coach, that he just popped up, and man, I really enjoyed. Once I did a little research, I enjoyed Coach's backstory and really what he had going on and what you doing, Coach. So, thank you, big brother. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you as well.
So listen, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Your upbringing, where you're from. I know you in GA, but tell us a little bit about you, man. How'd you come up and how you got into basketball, big brother?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm from College Park, Georgia. I grew up in College Park. My family is from Decatur. So when people ask me where I'm from, I say all over Atlanta. My family from Decatur, grew up in College Park, and went to school in the city of Atlanta. So as a youth in College Park, we had a recreation center that was for the kids from our neighborhood, and we used to go to the gym every single day, and play basketball every single day. And we had a Hall of Fame coach that was from College Park, and he was coaching at Frederick Douglass High School. And he used to have his son, which ended up being my best friend, who's now an associate head coach at the University of Cincinnati, Chad Dollar. He had his son in the same recreation league, and so he was able to coach us young. He and Mr. Charles Dodell, they were able to coach us young, and then I followed him up to Douglas High School.
Oh wow, oh wow. So it was that community center that got you really into playing a little basketball.
Yes, sir, man. We went there every single day after school. We went there. We played basketball every day.
Listen, now I was reading where, man, you were kind of talented at all sports. Basketball is just the one you went into, but I read where you had a little spell when you was a kid with baseball too. What all were you into, coach?
It was football mostly. I didn't do too much baseball. I did football. I played quarterback with Coach Dollar. He had us stop playing at junior varsity level, man, and a lot of us we were kind of upset about that. But he just wanted us to focus more on basketball because we play year round. And so, playing two sports as you start getting up there, it gets a little more difficult. And I knew that basketball would be the sport that I could, get a scholarship in.
Yeah, man. It was football, man, but I thought I thought I saw baseball, but I knew you were a supreme athlete just all around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I also ran cross country.
Really?
Coach Dollar used to have us run cross country to try to stay in shape, get in shape rather for the basketball season. But of course, me, man, I compete at everything I do, and so I was competing, actually coming in second and third. I never won the whole race, but I was always in the top 3 to 5.
Yeah, and that only helps. I hoop too. And yeah, we used to do that. That only helps because that deals with that cardiovascular. Hey man, the champions come out in the fourth quarter, and that's what track helps you to build, man. That dog, that's part of that dog, man. We're gonna get into that. So you kind of beat me to the punch, man. Tell me about the legendary coach, Dan Dollar, and what he means to you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, Don Dollar, they called him Donald Dollar. He was a Hall of Fame coach. He meant a lot to me because a lot of the things that he taught me through basketball are a lot of the things that helped me survive. Like he always told me, make sure you stick to the game. Make sure you stick to what you know. And then there were a time in my life where, it was a few years in there that got a little dark. And then I remembered a lot of the key things that Coach Dollar said to me and taught me. And so I got back involved with basketball, and listening to him say those words to me, or remembering those words he said to me, also pushed me to go ahead and finish my degree too. And so I was allowed to be able to stick to the game. And then check this out. What he said helped me finish my degree. And then once I finished my degree, guess who gave me a helping hand to get into college basketball?
Coach
Chad,
Dollar.
Coach Dollar's son. And so, it's a family thing, man, and that's how I try to do it with my program, to make it a family thing, because we're all here to try to help each other. And I not only try to help them with their skills on the court, but I try to help them in life and how to make good decisions. And I always try to say, keep things to them, so that if they're ever going through some dark days, they can remember some of the things I said to them, as well as I remember some of the things that Coach Dollar said to me.
Paying it forward, man, and giving back, big brother. That's what I love about your program. That's what I love about you. You all about it. Coach is serious too. Just a little secret. My son was training up on the coach, and I loved it because my son, he's pretty athletic. And
Mhm.
coach didn't let him off the hook though. Hey, listen, when you come out here, bro, we got an hour to do what we got to do now. Ain't no, you know what I mean? We got to capitalize and give it all we got, or we ain't gonna do nothing. Like 99 is just ain't no better than zero. You got to give it 100 or nothing.
That's
And
right.
so I appreciated that out of you, coach. I love that because they can absolutely utilize that. Um, Now I saw where somebody asked you about the type of players, and we're gonna get back to what you're teaching with your
Okay.
program.
Right.
Somebody asked you about the type of players that you like. Now I'm asking this because I know you just said Coach Dollar helped you with a lot of that wisdom and insight that he gave you. And what I heard you say was, I like a player who is a dog. I like him to have that killer instinct. And so I wanted you to kind of get into how Coach Dollar helped you develop, and how you define that killer instinct uh, 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 that helped you to excel and go to every next level. That makes sense, Coach. That makes sense.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I attribute a few things to how I developed the killer instinct. Number one was growing up, man, coming from the neighborhood that I came from, and I'm not ashamed of it, because I've come a long way from there, and I've seen people from there come a long way as well. But coming from the neighborhood that I came from, you had to be tough. You had to be tough, and playing basketball was a way of getting away from maybe some of the other negative things that was going on. And so we had to be tough, because first of all, when we went to play, we had to play with the older guys. It wasn't just a game for little kids. If you could play, you could play. And so we played, what I'm saying, we played with the big boys, man, and they didn't take it easy on us. And so we developed like a tough mentality. And so when I got a chance to get with Coach Dollar, and a lot of people thought Coach Dollar was mean because he was very strict, and he's hardcore about, what he needed you to do and what he wanted you to do. And it intimidated a lot of players. But coming from the environment that I came from, it didn't intimidate me, because I always had an upbeat attitude. Coach Dollar getting on me, or correcting me, or telling me. So I said, "Yeah, I got you, Coach. Okay, next." I was always like, "Next play, next play, next play." And I think Coach Dollar kind of liked that in me, man. He saw toughness in me, and it helped us have a really close relationship, because it wasn't like whatever he said went in one ear and went out the next. It went in, and I kept what I needed, and the rest, what I'm saying, I didn't let him affect the way I play, and I think he liked that.
That's that mental fortitude that coming up in the inner city USA builds up. I think that's what you're saying, Coach. You had to
Yes,
be mentally tough when you walked outside, so it
right.
only spilled over into the basketball court. And that's typically, would you say, Coach? That's typically how coaches uh, gauge top tier talent. Not
Yes.
just great talent, but great mental stability and fortitude.
Absolutely, man. Because listen, like, I use Kobe Bryant, who's my favorite player of all time. Kobe Bryant. I use him as an example, because there were other guys that came in around the time he came in that were just as talented as he was, but
Ooh,
his work ethic and the dog in him is what separated him from guys that were almost equal to him in
that's
talent
right.
wise.
That's right. He
No.
surpassed them.
Yes, man. That mentality, man. So, we always had that killer instinct, that mentality, man. And I think that's where Coach Dollar and I really, had a good player coach relationship was just the mentality.
Now, Coach, that was the first part. Thank you, thank you. What would you define it as? Like when you are gauging the people that you train in, when you gauging your teams, when you gauging, because at one point you were recruiting, you had a recruiting position. When you
Right.
were gauging those kids that you were scouting, tell the people that are out there so that they have some insight on what is that killer instinct, what is that dog mentality. Can you tell us what that is that
The
separates?
dog, yes. In my opinion, the dog mentality is doing whatever it takes to succeed at whatever it is you're saying that you want to do. And it's not just on the court. You might have a dog mentality. If just say you're an average student, and you're at a school where it's kind of hard, it's rigorous. The dog mentality would be that I got to study more. Maybe I got to get a tutor. Maybe I got to do a little bit more than I ever done in my life, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, but I have the type of mentality that's going to carry me through, because when I feel like I'm not doing that well, I'm going to try harder. I'm going to figure out whatever it is I need to do to accomplish my goals.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Hey coach, do you see that? Do you see a lot of as opposed to when we were coming up, right? In the
Mhm,
80s and the mid 90s,
mhm.
do you see a difference in that mentality, coach? Like the kids that you training and coaching? I'm getting ahead of myself, but you do it so well. I'm enjoying this, coach. Do you see a difference or a shift in the way that the game is played as far as that dog mentality or wanting it more?
Yes, I do. And I want to be careful how I say this, because I don't want to put down the new generation,
Yes, sir.
this is the old generation, because I do feel that the new generation, these guys are more talented, they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger and they're taller and just super skilled, because they have, guys like myself and tons of others training now and doing sports medicine, and everything is just high level now. And we didn't really have all of that stuff. And so these guys are super, super skilled, great talents, man. But when it comes to mentality and mental toughness, I think they are lacking as far as where it was when we were coming up. I think that we were more mentally tough. That's why I tell guys every time when they come to me for practice, or they come to me for training, I always make sure I tell them, tell your parents, thank you for bringing you here, because myself, we didn't have transportation like that. We caught the bus. We wanted to be there so bad. We caught the bus. We walked. We asked other parents for rides. And these kids, they have it for the most part, at least someone bringing you. I say someone's bringing you there. Their job is to get you here to transportation. They paid for you. My job is to push you and teach you and work. And your job is to really work hard. And it really upsets me when I see that these kids have it a lot better than we did, and they're taking it for granted by coming in here being lazy, not working hard. Your parent done spent their hard-earned money. I don't accept that in my program, man. It's really a great annoyance to have somebody come in there and go half speed when I know your parent spending their hard-earned money to bring you to me.
That's part of the reason I fell in love with you, coach, because of what you just said. And he ain't lying. Coach be on him like, hey, bro, we going full speed. We not you need a break. You need a little bit more water because hey, get it if you need it. But because when it's time to go, I need you to go game speed, player. Let's we going game speed with this ain't 21. So
Uh,
hey, listen. So that player coach relationship that you talked about with Coach Dollar, how did
mhm,
that help you? How did it affect your time at OU when you got there in 91 and then when you left OU at Coastal Carolina? Tell me
mhm.
about those times and how Coach Dollar and you having that uh, killer instinct that he liked. How did that affect your experiences at both of those institutions?
Okay. It helped me a great deal because, at Oklahoma, before I got there, Billy Tubbs was the coach. And in my mind, he was a legend. College basketball, they had been to Final Four. The year I signed there, they were ranked number one in the country. So he was a big figure to me. And so, it was a little nervous going in there in the beginning, but because of having played in so many different places, Coach Dollar had us all over the country. We were equipped to play in big time basketball. I'm used to, like a lot of work, and Coach Dollar pushing us real hard. It really was a breeze as far as being there and being able to listen to coach, or coach being able to get on me without me catching an attitude. And as far as my work ethic, what I learned from being coached with Coach Dollar, I had guys there that I was trying to earn playing time against. And I still remember, I tell people this story now. They used to ask me to slow up. And I was like, no, man, you already getting running. You already playing. I'm trying to earn some time. I can't slow
Coach,
up. So I was always going hard in practice, man. Some of the other
coach,
players, they didn't really like that.
they were asking you, other players were asking you to slow up,
Yeah,
coach.
true story. True story. They used to be like, man, I was like, no, man, I'm trying to give me some minutes.
Listen, that sounds like Kobe Bryant. That's how Kobe was. When you listen to him, he
Yeah,
said, his teammates is like, damn. Like,
yeah.
nope, I'm trying to play, bruh.
Yes,
This is real.
man. Yeah, trying to show coach that hustle, man, so I can be on the floor. Y'all heard me some minutes too.
I know it did because, hey, man, I always tell my kids, Roma, uh, hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
That's right.
And so when you were talented, and you were working hard. And let me slow down. Let me slow down and rewind for a second. We going too fast. Coach, what is your high? Tell the people your high when you were coming up. Tell the people the most points you scored in a game and how you did that.
As far as the highest I ever scored in a game was in the rec league at Brady Gym in College Park. I gotta still have a record over there. I can't imagine they don't even have this many in a game no more. I scored 62 in a rec
Woo-hoo.
league game.
Woo.
62. 62 points, yes.
How old were you, coach? And how
Yeah,
did you
man, I
do
think
it?
I was like nine or 10.
Coach, do
Yeah,
you remember what you
62.
did?
What do you say?
You remember what you did to do it? How you got them?
probably, probably just in a bunch of jumpers, man. Man, I promise, man. And I don't talk about myself a lot, but man, when I look at it, man, yeah, that jump shot was pretty serious. I
Listen,
can
and
only take Stephen Curry, man. Anybody else, I'm kind of hanging in there with you.
look, that for the people watching, if y'all caught the beginning, that's Keke for three. So all of his clients, everybody who he trains and develop as a player, this man is a legend, and they called him Keke for three. They didn't call him that for no reason. And back when you were playing, who were some of the people that you were playing against, Coach? Because you went to Douglas High School in
Yes,
Atlanta. Who all was in the talent pool back in them days?
as far as high school in my state,
Mm-hmm.
yes, we had James Forrest, who's a Georgia Tech legend. He was a McDonald's All-American.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Hancock was around. He was a McDonald's All-American. He played a couple of years at the NBA. So did James. And we had Sharon Wright that played down at Southwest Macon. He was a first. I think Sharon was like a third pick or something like that in the draft. He was a lottery pick.
Lottery. Oh wow.
Yeah, we actually all of us played on the Boston Shootout. The Atlanta team that went to the Boston Shootout, who they say is one of the greatest formed team, high school players from Atlanta, from Georgia. I was on that. I was on that team. Also, Greg Minor was coming out. He played in the NBA about 7 or 8 years. He's from Washington County. Played at Louisville. He was on that team with us, man. And another guy, Aaron Swinson, was on that team. Played a little bit in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had myself, Eric Burks from over at McNair High School. Man, we had a squad. We had a really had all of us going to the same college. Definitely Final Four.
Hey man, listen. When I looked you up, I just remember just seeing that you were in Sports Illustrated. You were top 50 player. That's what I left out, y'all. He was in Sports Illustrated, top 50 player, and they talked about his three was one of the best in the country.
Yes.
When he was in school, uh, that was how talented and how great Coach is and was. So, Coach, you went overseas, man, after you left Coastal Carolina. Talk about that,
Yes.
Coach.
Yeah, man. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life. I played in Germany for a while, did a little bit in Spain, did a little bit in Russia. I couldn't really take it in Russia, but Germany was my best place that I played, that I had the most fun and did well.
Absolutely, absolutely. What was it about Germany that you think you were able to thrive? And then what was it about Russia that you don't that you couldn't really catch on?
Well, first of all, Germany in Europe, it's easier to find things, to eat that you can relate as far as like, something similar to what you might eat here in your home country or whatever.
Right.
So, that was a big thing. And then most of the people there spoke more than one language. They didn't only just speak their language, but they pretty much spoke English too. You just have to speak a little slow to some, you know what I mean, so they can understand what you're saying. But the language barrier wasn't as hard as some people would think. And the biggest thing was that, you know, I felt like I got treated with a certain level of respect. And maybe some of that was because I was a basketball player, and maybe some of that because the way things are. And I say that to say because later years when I read the Malcolm X book, and he was speaking of how when he went to Mecca, how he seen that, people were different. People that may be an enemy here that looks the same over there is not an enemy over there. And that kind of blew him away. And when I read that, I thought about how I felt the first time I went overseas. Like nothing happened when I came back, got off the plane. Nobody did nothing to me. Nobody said nothing wrong. Nothing happened. But it was a feeling I just couldn't describe. And I was never able to understand that feeling I had until I read the Malcolm X book. And then I realized that's the feeling I was feeling. You get what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely.
it was just like over there, I felt like I was like, man, this must be what NBA players at home feel like. It was a certain feel of freedom, like that I'm not being judged. You get what I'm saying? Even though
Absolutely. You was just a human
nothing
being.
happened, nobody said that, nobody gave me special treatment or anything like that. It was just a feeling, man. I just could not describe it because it's like as soon as I got off the plane back here in the States, it's like an imaginary cloud jumped back on me. Now it's just like, things that you're self-conscious about here that wasn't self-conscious about over there.
Absolutely, man. I did some world traveling, coach. I was in the military, and what you're saying is absolutely right and exact. We are viewed and received differently overseas. Uh,
Hmm.
and it's disheartening. And Malcolm was the first to talk about it in the autobiography that I
Hmm.
read as well. He talked about when he went abroad, how everybody was brothers, and how the terms, the different uh, ethnic terms and the racial terms that we call ourselves, none of that stuff was valid over there. We were all the same. We were all human beings. And so,
Right.
man, it sounded like that was what you experienced when you went over there.
Yes.
You were just a human being that was welcomed as a human being. And
Right.
and that's something, man. That's a coach. I don't know about you, but when I was over there, it gave me a tin of sadness because
Mhm.
you going back home, and you know that it's not going to be the same reception when you get back home,
Right.
and you leaving. That's why a lot of guys retire and go over there, and I'm pretty sure probably a lot of I would imagine a lot of basketball players like yourself stay over there as well and just come back and forth between
Yep. I
the
saw a lot of
continent.
that. Saw a
Yeah,
lot of that, man. Guys that just stayed.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. So when you came back, coach, you stayed over there. When you came back, you went to coach you came to GT, right? Georgia Tech,
I end up at Georgia Tech, coaching on the staff from 12 to 15.
2012 to 2015.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. Were you was no, that was after Jared Jack, right?
Yes, it was after Jack. Yeah, it was after Jerry Jack.
That was
Jack is in the NBA coaching right now.
absolutely, absolutely. And then once you left Tech, you went to Point down in
Yes. Point
Southern
University.
Point University down in
Yes.
Southern Georgia.
Yes.
What were
Right on
those
the
experiences?
Alabama line.
Right there, you go, right there, close to Auburn. Um,
Yes.
what were your experiences like? Because at this point, you moved into another part of the game, right? You weren't the star in the movie, but you were, more like directing. You know what I'm saying? You still involved, but you just directing. How was your time at GT and Point University, Coach?
Yeah, the times are different. Of course, Georgia Tech is a much bigger university in a bigger conference. Point is small university, small school. And but me, I love basketball, and so for me, it was just as good as in the basketball aspect because I had a chance to teach. In fact, I had a larger role at Point than I did at Georgia Tech. But like I said, the difference in resources by the size of the program, Georgia Tech is a much bigger program. But I did learn a lot at point. I was able to get better at some things that wasn't my responsibility when I was at Georgia Tech. So I feel like at point I became a more well-rounded coach because I got better at video, got better at scouting, scouting other teams and putting together, their tendencies and things like that. And that was kind of fun to me. So I was able to become a better, well-rounded coach when I was at point.
Oh wow, that is amazing. That's amazing. So I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to take us somewhere here, right?
Mhm.
So when you left Point, how did you get into mentoring and motivational speaking? Because you so good with them kids, man, and the way you communicate with them and the way they listen to you. That's something that's got to be in you. I feel you got to really love it, and it'll show. How'd you get into that, Coach? Talk to us.
Well, after everything that I feel like I had been through in my life, in regards to basketball, I felt like at that point in my life, I didn't really want to deal with the politics of the sport as much, and the things that come with being a college basketball coach. And,
Right.
we can do a whole nother podcast on that. I wasn't
Mhm.
really happy with that part of it. Not saying that, I wasn't happy, but, I wanted to be able to do more. I wanted to be able to have a bigger impact, on the kids, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's what's more important than just the basketball itself. And I started feeling like I wasn't having the impact that I wanted to have. And it was a tough decision for me, but I felt like all the things that I learned in the years that I was coaching and around great coaches and traveling and then being around big time coaches and seeing how they do things and seeing how they study and things of that nature, and seeing the people that come speak to our programs and do things for the kids, I start feeling like I can have a bigger impact if I go on my own, to start this training, start this mentoring, and be able to make a good living for myself. Also, my daughter was growing up, and I wanted to be able to spend more time at home, because we all know as a college coach, you don't really get a lot of time with your family. And I really didn't want to pay that price. And I felt like that I was good enough and talented enough and been around the game enough that I can make a living and make my own time and my own schedule, and be a chance to be more present for my family.
Man, that is awesome. Coach, do you remember the first motivational speech you actually gave, or what, where it was?
Actually, actually, I, I think this was the first one. I did one for Point University after I was gone. I went back to the school. I actually did a team building for them, and I gave them a good long motivational speech. Man, it was down at the school, given to me through my coach Slack, who had hired me. And, he gave me the opportunity to come down and speak with the team and do a team builder, man, and it was pretty good, man. I think the guys really enjoyed that.
That is awesome. You got to be a bad man, Coach, to leave a place and then be invited back to come in and to come and bring them back up, Coach. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I think, man, once people see that you're genuine and that you really care about what you're doing and have passion for it, I think good people will try to help you, because there's a lot of, no disrespect to anybody, but there's a lot of people out here, doing this stuff just for a quick buck, or they don't really care about the kids, they don't really care about the parents, and they're not really true to the sport. And some of them don't really, quite frankly, even have the experience. And I don't want to sound like I'm knocking anybody, but I think that's not fair, for people to get into it for that. If you're going to get into it, I ain't saying you have to have been a player before, but at least study the game, at least be able to get a kid something back positive. Don't just get in this just to get a dollar, because if you are, you're in the wrong sport.
That's right. And look, Coach, I would, to add on to that excellent and eloquently put statement you just made, I would say even if you have played the game, even if you do have experience at whatever level, it can only add on to your expertise and your range of impact and influence if you study a little bit. Like you said,
That's
man, I just love what you said. I'm listening. You said, I I had been around those big time coaches. I had been around them and I watched how they studied. I
Hmm.
watched how they prepared. That's it right there. They had to study the game. They had to prepare their players to play the game. And that's what separated them. I think when you say coach from the good to the great coaches. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
wherever you are, you can always get better. So yeah, man. Yes, sir. I didn't cut you off, did I, coach? You was gonna
Oh
say
no,
something.
you're good, man. I just believe that we can all learn something from each other because there are other trainers out here, man, and I don't rival anybody. I look at their stuff because to me, it's a basketball community. We're a basketball family. I may be more better at one part of the game, and this other trainer or coach may be better at another part of the game. So I can learn something from another trainer just as well as a trainer can learn something from me. Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be for the kids, right? So it's
Right,
not me versus you.
right.
It's
It's
about
us
the
for the
kids, man.
kids.
Yes, it's
It's
about the
us for the
climb.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is what I will ask, coach. I want you to you've been dropping gems so far, man, and I appreciate it. So how did you form up Keke for real basketball training? And then uh I know you teach, I know it, but I want you to what else do you teach besides basketball? I know what it is, but I want you to expound a little bit more.
Teach. I try to teach guys and girls. The biggest thing that I try to work with them on is how to control their emotions.
Mm,
Because I feel like if you can learn to control your emotions, you can really get somewhere out here, man. Because a lot of times, and we all know, when you can't control your emotions, you end up saying things that you don't want to say, that you regret, that could cause a conflict with somebody important or somebody that you care about. It could cost you your life out here in these streets. Not controlling your emotions, you disrespecting people, or saying things to somebody who not really all the way there mentally, or who may be going through some things. I tell people all the time, you never know what other people are going through. Treat everybody with respect. When somebody getting out of line with you, maybe it's just time to leave. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just time to exit that situation. You're always allowed to defend yourself, but if you have a chance to leave or to walk away or to get away, then you should take that option first.
absolutely, absolutely. Life skills, emotional intelligence, coach. That's what you teaching them, and I love you for it, and I love that about your program. So, how did you form it up? If you could tell us, man, how did you form up? What did you say to yourself, like, okay, it's time for me to do this? Or, I know you said you had been around them, you had been around the teachers, the people, the coaches long enough.
Right.
So, what exactly, what were the steps that you took? And you said, okay, let me how do I jump on this? Or where did you start and then to where you are now? I put it
Well,
that way.
when I first started, it was in the summer of 18, and it was with a guy who's playing pro now in China, Trey Golden. He was a player at Georgia Tech, and so he had a lot of friends that played ball in Europe and overseas that he brought, and that I started out training with. So I got a pretty good base and a pretty good start. And like, I just knew that was something I was really good at. I knew that there was a need, and the training business was growing rapidly at that time. And it's don't burst out the seams now, but I just knew that was something I could be good at. And then I knew it was something that I could expand off of, because there are many avenues in basketball, like having tournaments and clinics, and um, um, coach, like I said, coaching clinics, tournaments and camps and things of that nature, and collaborating with other people, and so I just knew it would be something that I could be good at, in doing team builders and going out and speaking to teams and speaking to students. And it's just like a lot of things you can do that I branch off of, but the primary thing is of training. But to answer your question, I just knew that was something that was a need that I could be very good at.
Man, and you are awesome at it, coach. You are very much awesome at it. Like I say, I can appreciate you. When I met coach was in what is that, coach?
But
Off
I
of
think I
Nova.
was over. Was it at the church, the Green Pastors Church, or where were we?
It was in the same plaza with that it was a gym in there. It was a
Oh,
gym off
Momentum. We were over at Momentum. Yes, yes,
Momentum.
over at Momentum office. Yeah, in the cab over there, Snap Finger.
Yep, snap
Yeah,
finger. Uh
yes,
uh that's where I met coach. But you since moved, coach. Uh
yes.
to a church. Where are you now,
Yes,
man?
yes, I'm over at the Samson Health and Fitness Center, which is on the campus of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. And so, yes, on the campus of New Birth Baptist Church, the gym is called Family and Life Center on the campus of New Birth Baptist Church in
Man,
Stonecrest, Georgia.
that is awesome, man. That is awesome. Um, you talked about being around trainers, man, and people who studied the game and who were great students and great innovators of the game. One thing, you guys, Coach was invited to a world renowned. I think it was like I want to say it was a coaches clinic, or it
Yes,
was it was a, you know what I'm talking about.
certification event. Yes.
He was invited to a world renowned coaching clinic, and this is a blessing because here it is. This guy, I'm gonna let Coach tell y'all about it, but this guy was actually Kobe's trainer, right? When you
Mhm.
go
Yes, sir.
online, he talks a lot about, like Coach, he gives a lot of insight into the psychology of the game and also those intricate details of the game. And he
Right.
holds a clinic, and he helped Kobe develop his game. So, Coach, if you could tell us who that was, tell us about um that experience and how it impacted you and how it impacted Keke Hicks for real basketball development.
Right. Yeah, like I always like to be the best at what I'm doing. And like I said earlier, we can all learn from other coaches and other trainers. And I have been following this guy. His name is Phil Handy. He's an assistant coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's trained some of the best players in the world, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. He worked with Anthony Davis and, pretty much all of the Lakers. Um, yes, he was having a certification event out in California at the Mamba Sports Academy, and it was a weird feeling meeting him and being there because I know Kobe spent a lot of time in there. I know his daughter spent a lot of time in there. I know this is the location that they were on their way to when the tragic accident happened. And so, I love the event because, first of all, I learned a lot, not just from Phil Handy, but from other great trainers. There were like the top trainers in the world was there, like Gannon Baker was there, Chris Johnson was there, top big time trainers were there, and it was a um, Rico Hines was there. Teresa Witherspoon did a great segment on defense. I learned more in that weekend than I probably learned in the last few years on basketball. These guys, and Teresa Witherspoon as well. They did a masterpiece. Each one did a segment on something different, and it was a masterpiece. Like I say, man, we can always learn. I feel like I've been around basketball my entire life, but I've always known that you can learn from other people, and just sitting there as a student of the game, picking up these things that these guys were saying, and being eager to bring it back to my clients to help them get better and learn more things to help them get better. It was well worth the money. It was well worth the trip out to California, and it was a pretty good experience, a great experience actually, and I learned a lot. And actually, I got the tape now, so I've been studying the tape every single day of everybody's segment.
Hey man, that is awesome. I know your clients, man, those kids that you train in your teams, they only gonna benefit from it. They are only going to reap the benefits of that. Cause I know you was like a sponge out there. I'm gonna pull up. I think it's on your. I'm getting ready to pull up your website for this next as
Mhm.
you talking, so that people can see. First of all, I'm gonna show y'all where to go, so that when y'all get in, y'all can get in touch with Coach. You can also see him on Instagram and see what he has going on. See all the amazingly great things that he's doing. And I'm gonna try to find Phil Handy. Uh
Okay.
try to find him as we are talking. But to give some back some back some background or some context to what Coach is saying, Phil Handy is also one of those guys that when you see him on Instagram, right, Coach, he's always giving those little shorts of like impactful knowledge right there. And
Right.
I caught one where he was saying a lot of times, he was teaching people how to, move and rotate. He was like, it's in the footwork, it's
Yes.
being low and wide, it's in the footwork. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh wow, I didn't think about that. I was like, he's right. You know what I mean? When you're trying to beat people, you do want to stay low and wide. And so it's just he's a master trainer. Wouldn't you say, Coach? Would you agree with that?
Yes, master.
He's a master trainer. So, um, yeah, man. Uh, Coach, what events do you have coming? What team do you have? Any teams you gonna have? Do you have any events that you gonna be at? And how often are you training over there at the church at the campus?
Yes, I'm training over there pretty much 5 days a week. Sometimes 6 days because I'll take a Saturday sometime when I have an overload of kids. And then also with it being the basketball season, a lot of kids can't make it at their regular times through the week. And so the only time they can really come get a good workout is on the weekend. So I'm basically Monday through Saturday now, from 4 to 8 through the week, and then 7 a.m. in the morning until we get done, depending on how many people want to come. We can get it done. We start at 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and like I said, from 4 to 8 through the week, Monday through Friday.
Okay, okay. I'm pulling you up, Coach. You have to forgive me, man. My
Yeah, no problem.
it's pulling up, but man, so you actually were out there with the at the Mamba Academy, man.
Yes, man.
Was it nice, Coach?
Yeah, super nice, man. Like I was like, wow, man. I seen so many videos of Kobe in here with his daughter, Kobe being in here, with Phil, and yeah, man, it was a great experience, man. I really enjoyed it, and I learned, like I say, I learned a ton of stuff, man. I learned a lot, man. I still hadn't unpacked everything I learned, and it was in August.
Wow, I know. I had just listening to people on television, listening to different interviews people give. They say Kobe was really involved with that place because I think he built that place for his daughter to work out and for teams to play. They played tournaments there. I want to say
Right.
Tracy McGrady had a daughter as well, right?
I think so. I'm not sure about that, but I think so.
Yeah, I think I saw where Tracy McGrady had a daughter, and him and Kobe were competing again through their children. That was funny. They were competing against their children, but I'm just trying to say that they say Kobe was very accessible at that place. He was very humble, very down to earth. People came in there. As long as people were respectful, he's talking to everybody, man. It's like, hey, this is a place for the kids, like you say, man. This is not about me or my career. This is about helping these young ladies and these young people reach their full potential. So, man, that was awesome.
I can see Kobe. People can say what they want about Kobe, but I can see Kobe being like just what you said, being humble and being at that place. Because if he spent the amount of time I know that he spent around Phil, I know Phil rubbed off on him. Because listen, man, when we first started the event, I mean, there's coaches everywhere in here, man. And the first thing he said, I said, "I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm leaving the ego at the door. I do not have an ego."
Mm.
And I appreciated that, man. I like guys like that who's on a high level, but they're still humble enough to speak to other people with respect and give up the knowledge. Like he always says, share the knowledge, and I try to be the same way. That's like I told you earlier. I'm not in competition with no other trainer. I will share the knowledge. It's all for the players, man. It's all for the client. It's not about me. I've already had 10,000 people in the arena cheering for me before. So it's not about me. It's just what I can do and what I can do to help someone else get better.
Coach, you couldn't have said it no better, man. And you gotta, I always the way I describe you to people, man, when I send people your way, right? Because basketball communities are small. I always say, man, Coach Keke teaches mindset as well as skill set. Probably mindset before skill set. And when you got the mindset that I'm helping these kids, right?
Right.
This is not about me. I'm gonna get what I need to get, but I want you to when you advance, I win. That's the only time I win is when you your best self. So right here, y'all, this is Instagram, and y'all see it's Coach. I mean, it's Keke Hicks for real. Excuse me. It's got a lot of information, great information, a lot of good clips, a lot of great shorts of real impactful information. Coach teaching not only skill set, but mindset as well. You see, Coach is a family man. He's putting it out there, man, because like he said, his program is not just about skills and mindset, but it's about family as well. It's a village for these players. So, yeah, Coach, I'm showing, man, everything you got on here, all the players and professional basketball training. This is awesome, man. This is amazing. I want to let me see if I can click on this, man. Can we get you
Keke Hicks from Keke for Real Basketball Player Development Program. Hey, listen, parents with kids from ages 5th grade through 8th grade, and you want your kid to get more playing time, come and see me. If you want your kid to have more of an impact on their middle school team, come and see me. Girls and boys, come train with me. I've had kids to come in here that didn't even make their team and came and trained and worked and really was dedicated to their craft, and they was able to make that team. I've had kids who wasn't even getting that much playing time, and I tell them the secrets and give them the blueprint and share the knowledge with them to help them understand what it takes to get more playing time and what coaches like and what coaches don't like. Come and see me. Thank you very much.
Come and see him. Come and see him. Come and see him. Listen, that is on Instagram. It's Keke Hicks for real. Y'all go right now. Keke Hicks for real. Follow him. Shoot him a DM message. I know a lot of people have kids, and they want to get better, at whatever level, they will learn a whole lot, not a little bit, but a whole lot from Coach. And then I'm going to go website too, Coach, and
Okay.
we're gonna check that out, man, so that we can see what's going on over there. I think I saw where you updated it, man. You got LeBron on there, man. The advertisement. You got the advertisement. But Coach, listen, after we go through here, man, this is the segment of the interview, man, where we're gonna talk about some logical things. Uh like I love what you just said, man. You said emotional intelligence, really teaching kids how to control their emotions. That is
Yes.
so huge, Coach. That is so huge
Very
because,
important, man.
Coach, what do you say to these players when they come to you and they might not be as coachable as they can be? How do you get through to them, Coach? What is a method that you use to get through to them?
I just try to, like, first of all, the first thing I want to do is really get to know them, on a personal level, so we can be like a family. And that way, I know, how I gotta approach them. You get what I'm saying? Because every kid is different. Some kids you can't yell at; it's not gonna get you anywhere. Some kids need a little more force. But when I see them, not being coachable, I just get on them, man, and I just tell them how important it is to be able to listen, because not only in basketball, being a good listener can help save your life. It can help you to make better decisions. It's going to always be important that you're able to listen to somebody, man. It's, what I'm saying, you don't know everything. You can think you're a master at something, but it's always room to listen. So I try to let them know how important it is to be able to listen. And everybody, as great as they are, everybody got to be able to have somebody that they trust enough to be able to listen to. Because if you're out here with no guidance, then you're gonna run into a lot of trouble.
Absolutely. Coach, let's get one of these testimonials. Let's let some of your clients let the people know what you got going on, man.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? My name is Rashard Scott, and I'm the father of Donovan Scott. I'm just giving you a testimony about the work we've been doing with Coach Keke. We found Coach Keke about a year and a half, 2 years ago. We were coming off a rec league season in which my son got very little playing time. In the last game of the season during the championship, Donovan only got 10 seconds of playing time. He gave somebody a breather. Fast forward to where we are now. He's playing 8th grade basketball. We just had the biggest game of the season against the most competitive team we played, right? And we end up winning the game. Donovan ended up having 21 points in a 40-33 win. He had tremendous defense, and that's a testament to the work we're putting in with Coach Keke. Coach Keke's going to teach him the mental toughness. He's going to give him the foundational skills, and your child will get better. So from one parent to another, if you're considering, get down with Coach Keke. He is for real. He's the truth. See you in the gym. What's up, everybody?
Set up that professional training. He said he's the truth. Hey, he ain't doing nothing but telling the people what I already know. What I've been knowing. Coach is doing his thing. Yes, sir. Hey, man, that's awesome, Coach. Like I said, hey, Coach, I'm always in awe of how you really reaching people, man, and really uplifting their mentalities. Like I remember I saw one. It's a clip on your YouTube, your Instagram, where
Uh,
you were telling the kids, you were going through there, and you were like, "Listen, this is why you need to be going full speed. This is one of the reasons.
mhm,
Even if you're not, as fluid skill wise yet,
mhm.
at least you getting in shape and your body's getting accustomed to running game speed. So don't cheat yourself, brothers and sisters, boys and girls. At least run through this at game speed. So when your skills catch up to your cardiovascular shape, you ready. You
Yes.
ready to go. And so, man, I really love that because a lot of these kids, man, they want to be Steph Curry, they want to be Allen Iverson, they want to be all of these players, not realizing that those guys, there wasn't magic to get where they got. It was exactly what you teaching. It was mindset, it was skill set, and it was hard work and holding it down and grinding. So
Mhm.
coach, for what you're doing from being a parent who's going through your program, seeing the results, seeing how the impact that you're making, I just have to commend you and say thank you, brother, and keep doing what you're doing, man. Seriously.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. Now, this is the section of the show where we deal with topics that I would normally build on. You know, being League of Logic. If you've been a fan, of you watch one of my individual builds, you understand. Uh, I take a circumstance or instance and break it down, and I like to use more recognizable uh, instances so that people can say, "Oh, wow, that makes a little bit better sense."
Mhm.
So I would be remiss if I didn't get my brother Coach Keke's saying or his perspective, because he's a super intelligent guy too. One thing, after we would train, sometimes, man, if we had time, me and Coach would talk about different things that were going on in the world, right? And
Mhm.
just like I'm a fan of Coach, Coach is a fan of, or I shouldn't say a fan. I'm a supporter of Coach. He's a supporter of mine as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, um, I'll get into that, Coach. I want to ask you some things. So I'm gonna share something. I'm gonna share one more. I'm gonna share something with the just so we can keep it literature based. Coach, I'm pretty sure you're aware of. I know you saw everybody saw Bill Cosby do 36 months and then get released by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court due to court mishandlings, right?
Right.
Uh, But we also, before that, we saw Me Too, we saw Time's Up, we saw these movements that really aimed at predators, sexual predators,
Mhm.
in high places. And now, recently, Coach, we've seen the same thing circle back around. We've seen it was first, what I first saw was recently was Puffy and Cassie, right?
Mhm.
She came out and said he had abused her. Then we saw, excuse me, Coach. Then we saw Cuba Gooding Jr. Well, excuse me, Marcellus Wiley was who I read.
Mhm.
Marcellus Wiley, he got a charge. Then it was Cuba Gooding Jr. got two more charges, right? Two more, Coach. He got two more. He had two more tacked on him. Then Aaron Hall and Puffy got another one from another young lady. And finally, Bill Cosby has one as well. It's another woman coming out saying, "Hey, we have been sexually assaulted." And all of these charges, Coach, these are at least 10, 15 years old. They're at least 10, 15 years old, Coach.
Mhm.
So, Coach, what is your take on these occurrences and now? How do you see these things, Coach?
Man, those are tough. First of all, if those things are true that the women are saying, I have no pity
Yes,
for
sir.
the guys who are being accused of that. I don't stand by anybody who want to violate a woman and take something that she wasn't willing to give to you, whether
Mhm.
that be by force or whether that be by drugs, or however it comes by. To me, that's a coward, and I would never have a different opinion about a person who does something of that nature. However, it gets a little tricky, man, when it's been, uh, 15, 20 years, and then somebody come back and say something like that. Now, I don't want to take away again from the female if those things are true. You get what I'm saying? If those things are true, I don't want to be the one to say, well, why you wait this long? I don't want to question any victim really if what they say happened to them, because I haven't walked in their shoes. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know, if it's embarrassment to say something. I mean, I just don't know what that's like. I can't really speak for them on that. I wish that, when something like that happened, that the person would be strong enough to go ahead and report that. Then, I think they'll have a better chance of, you know, getting that person to have to answer for that than if you wait 30 years or 15 years to come back and say that. But so I guess to sum it all up, man, I can't condone anyone who does, something like that. Like if the things that Cassie said about Puppy, if those things are true, then I mean, he's a monster. That's just how I see it, whether we like his music or not. He's a monster. I don't agree with that. But, it's just a tough situation, man. I don't believe in nobody violating another human being and putting them through anything like that, no matter what race they are, no matter if it's a man or if it's a woman. I just don't want to see anyone get treated that way. But I also don't want to see someone be accused of those things and it's not all true, or it's been trumped up or exaggerated. That's not fair either, because if someone say that about me and it's not true, my name has already been slandered. And although it may come back and say that I didn't do those things that I was accused of, people still gonna see me that way. They're gonna remember that being said about me. So that's pretty powerful to say about a person. I would hope and I would pray that someone, when accuse people of those things, if they're not true, because those are very vicious rumors.
What I'm looking at, Coach, I'm trying to pull up is the Adult Survivors Act, and basically it's a law that has it's over 2,500 sex abuse suits that
Mhm.
are expiring. So these are expiring suits. Uncle Luke got charged as well. Luther Campbell,
Oh
uh,
wow.
he got charged as well. So these are things that they're getting ready to expire. So in order to keep them on the books, in order to keep them viable options for their accusers, that's why we've been seeing so many of them, Coach. That's why they're
Mm.
popping up all over the place. So this seems like it's something that may have been, that could have been something from the past. It could have been something that was brought to the forefront, but now it's like, hey, you might want to, the statute of limitation is running out. So you might want to jump on this. But to your point, Coach, um, I'm not for or against anybody, right? People earn what they get.
Mhm.
You know, I have a wife, you have a wife. I have a daughter, you have a daughter. So I know that you know, we'll be willing to go to hell and back for our queens and for our daughters, right? So if
Right.
somebody were to violate or victimize them, then they deserve the full extent, the wrath of the law to come down on
Mhm.
them. But at the
Yes.
same time, it's like, Coach, when you call in your insurance company and say, hey, look, somebody hit my car and totaled it. They say, okay, do you want to file a claim? And it's a claim before it's proven that it's something that's true. And I'm with you, Coach. If these things are in fact claims and not really something that's solid, and it's something that actually happened, then there should be some kind of recompense for those people who are the accusers, because this is becoming a little bit, it's getting common, like you said, and not to take away, not to say that they're lying, but it's getting real common for 30 plus years, for years and years back. And it's like, man, um, you look, take it to the full length. I just wonder how thorough can we really be after 30 years?
Right.
How,
That's the problem with
you
that.
know what I'm saying, Coach? Like,
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's the problem with that, man. It's just that's been a long shit. I might have forgotten the whole. I mean, that's a lot, man. That's a lot of time. 30.
bruh, that's a whole lot of time, coach.
Yeah, man. That's pretty
30
tough right there.
years? Like, come on, man. But like you said, everybody, if they've made it legal, then I mean, I assume everybody has an opportunity to advance their case, you know. But the next thing I want to ask you, because I know how much you care about kids, and I know
Mhm,
you see a lot of kids through your program. As of late, coach, I've been seeing a lot of in these school systems. First and foremost, I've been seeing a lot of teachers sleeping with children. I've been seeing a whole bunch of teachers and students fighting. Um,
mhm.
and I've been seeing the one that gets me. All of it's bad, but the one that gets me, coach, is I've been seeing uh, kids violate other kids, and sometimes it's sexual violations.
Mhm.
Um, Coach, what do you think is missing? Because I know you are an advocate for mindset, right? And being coachable, which translates to, like you said, whatever area in life you're trying to excel in, you know, having a mentality that I can do it and being better. What do you what when you see these things, coach, what is your mind tell you? What do you say about these things?
Well, as far as in regards to kids violating other kids in certain ways, whether that be physical harm or whether that be sexual, it makes the first thing that comes to my mind is where are their parents and what are they learning at home and what's their home life? Because I tell my wife all the time, I'm not going to let my daughter go to a school when there are not like-minded parents at that school. You get what I'm saying? Because I
Mm,
don't know, they may not have any guidance. Some kids may not have any guidance at home, or some kids may be being abused at home. That's why they want to abuse other kids. And so, my heart goes out to those families that deal with that, whether they're the victim or whether they're not able to take care of their kid properly enough, that their kids out here doing all type of terrible things. But to answer your question, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Where are their parents and what are they teaching them at home and what's going on in the home of that kid?
mm. Absolutely, absolutely, man. And when you well, I think I know the answer to this, coach. If you see that aggression that we perceive that it would take, because coach does single training, which is, I think, I want to say it's $50 per hour, but then he
Mhm,
also does group training, which is $30 per hour.
mhm,
And typically, coach, you can see coach just explain how he likes to build a familiar or family rapport, because that's a good way to gauge, that's a good way to reach, that's a good way to teach these young men and women. So, coach, when you've reached them and when you're in the group sessions, when you see that aggression, when you see that type of uh, that emotional, maybe OC out of control, how do
mhm.
you how do you go about, coach, in your when people are under your realm, under your reign? How do you stop that or nip that in the bud?
I treat them, man. I don't have one method. I treat each kid accordingly. I just talk to them like they were my own. I just speak to them and show them the love and toughness, tough love that I would to my own. For example, I had this one kid in there one day, and he's pretty aggressive. And I like his aggression as far in regards when he's playing, but sometimes he don't control his emotions. And so he got upset with another kid and he took off the swing. He really live fighting in there. And I was like, man, really? So I grabbed him up, squeezed him real tight to get him where I wanted him to be. So we got over kind of behind the wall or whatever. I had the other guys shoot free throws, man, and I really laid it on him, and I laid it on him in a way as if I was his father, and I was disappointed in him. So I just put it to him that way, and I gave him some examples of if you do this in an environment that is not controlled by a teacher or parent or a coach like myself, you can get yourself killed. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy's seventh grade. I said In the next 2 years, okay, you be ninth grade, be 15 or 16, you're out at the park somewhere. I just explained it to them like that, and you're playing and you're popping off at your mouth like that, running up in people's face, taking a swing at them, and then you're out here with a kid who does not have a future, who do not have guidance at home, who do not have a coach, who do not have a parent that's teaching them something. And the first thing they're gonna want to do, they're gonna go to their bag and they're gonna get something, and they're gonna take you out of here, man. Just for simple stuff like just talking and being disrespectful. I said, man, if you feel like you need to be that disrespectful to somebody, man, it's time to go. It's time to pack your bags and leave, man. Or you got to just be able to move accordingly, man. I tell people all the time, I'm not a chump, but I just try to move in a way that's gonna help eliminate, silly problems like that. Like I don't disrespect nobody, whether I feel like I can master that person or whoop them, or I got a weapon and all that stuff. It doesn't matter if I have an advantage. I'm not gonna disrespect no one because, as I stated earlier, you don't know what people going through. You don't know what their mindset is. It's always best to just play it cool, man. The guys that play it cool are usually the guys that make it home. So I just hit him with a speech like that, man, and he had me so upset. I found myself getting a little, because I really like this kid, man, and I see that streak in him that can cause him a lot of trouble. So I got a little emotional, not seriously, but he seen how serious I was. And man, he just dropped his head, man. Then he just started saying, I'm sorry, coach. I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying. I said, man, I'm telling you this because I care about you. You can lose your life out here doing that type of stuff, man. You don't want to take care of the energy with you, and it's unnecessary.
Absolutely, coach. And that's awesome. And that's how we are to really handle young people, right? You
Mm-hmm.
are to grip them up and show them that love, right? And
Mm-hmm.
explain I try to explain to my kids, man, a lot of children in my community, they think I'm a mean guy because I don't talk to everybody. And my hey, coach, I get that from my playing days when
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ready to say, coach, if you got a team and you got a good player and you trying to get that player, you trying to teach him something
Mm-hmm.
or her something, you gonna stay on them. You gonna stay on them. But now, when you don't say nothing to them, that's when
Mm-hmm.
you worry. You know what I'm saying? That's when,
Yes.
as a player, you say, "Wait a minute, I need to schedule some time with coach." Because at this point, I'm just a body out here, and he or
Mm-hmm.
she has made up in their mind that I'm not gonna waste my good energy on this kid on me because
Mm-hmm.
I'm uncoachable. I can't listen. Uh,
Right.
so man, I talk to the ones that will take that. I talk to them, man. The ones that don't, I just say, well, I tell my son and my daughter, like, hey, same thing you said. Uh, everybody's not the same. Everybody's
Right.
values aren't the same, and everybody doesn't have that emotional intelligence that you talked about, coach. And
Mm-hmm.
so, somebody with nothing to lose, they're dangerous because
Yes.
the most petty and minute thing can get you taken out of here.
Yes, it can, man.
Yeah, so coach, man, whoo, man, I am so glad that I was able to get this, man. I was just thinking about, man, all the meaningful interviews that I'm doing. And I was like, man, I need to get another person on here. I said, what am I doing, man? I said, Coach Keke, man. Why haven't I got with Coach, man? I said, I got to get Coach on here because he got so much great things going on, so many great things. Coach, tell us about teams and things of that events before I let you go. Events that you might be clinics. I think, and you said right now it's just one-offs because it's basketball season, so you don't have a whole bunch going on there. In the future, do you have any teams or anything forming up for the kids?
Yes, I'm gonna do my AAU team again this year. All those guys are ninth graders that I had last year. I should have a good core group coming back, and we'll add some players to the team. But I'm also gonna start a new team this year with the Kiki for real. I'm gonna start young at 10. I'm gonna do 10U. So of course, Roman's gonna be on the team. We already spoke about that. So I'm gonna have two teams. I'm gonna have, like I said, my ninth graders, and then I'm gonna have my 10U guys, and we'll play a in-state schedule this season, and we may go out of town with the ninth grade team, but I just want to make sure guys get tons of games so they can be able to train all summer and be able to put their stuff to good use in the game, and that way they'll be better for their high school seasons. And like I said, with the 10, want to start and catch them young so we can train them up before they learn bad habits and try to help them be the best player that they can be.
Coach, man, you never have what the man say? Never have so few, oh so much to so many. You done gave me so much, coach. Hey man, I really want to say thank you for allowing me to take up this part of your time, man, and just also thank you for being the brother that you are, man, always answering my calls, always being there with me and you build, man, that rapport. It means a lot, man, because you're one of the brothers that I really respect. You are one of the people in the community that's really doing something, right? And it's making a difference. So, man, I just want to say thank you, coach, for real. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And
Oh,
if you could tell the people, man, where to find you, coach, before we get off of here.
okay. All right. Well, first of all, I want to say you're welcome, and thanks to you too, man. I appreciate you allowing me to be on your platform, man, and I respect you just as well as you respect me, man. When I first met you, like, man, I could tell a good brother when I see one. You know what I mean? Like, I always try to gravitate to good brothers that care about the community, that take care of their kids, take care of their family, and have respect for other brothers, man. And it feels good to be around somebody, of your nature, man. And I appreciate that. And I don't say that lightly, man, because these days, man, it's getting to be a little too rare that we run into other good brothers, man. That's about the same good things, man. So I
That's right.
appreciate I appreciate you as well as you appreciate me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And once again, what do you want me to would
Oh,
you like me to
all your everybody can find you
Oh,
at.
okay. You can find me at Marquis, Marquis, Marquis Keke, Keke Hicks, Marquis Keke Hicks on Facebook, and then Keke Hicks for the number 4 real on IG, Keke Hicks, HICKS, the number 4 REAL. And on IG, Keke Hicks for real on IG, and CoachKeke.com for my website, CoachKeke.com, CoachKeke.com, Keke Hicks for real on IG, and Marquis Keke Hicks on Facebook.
Hang back real quick, coach. Just real quick.
Mhm.
Listen, man, look, another epic episode, another great session. And like I say, man, y'all got Coach Keke's information. I know it's some basketball players. I know people are trying to increase their game. Y'all got a real gem dropper, a real drool dropper in Coach Keke, because he's not only going to teach skill set, y'all, he's going to teach that mindset. You heard what he said about kids elevating their game, but also elevating their mind and their mentality. Listen, thank you so much. And as I always say to you guys, man, as I always say to the people, man, may we meet again in the light of understanding. You guys have a great week, and we will see you all next time. Y'all, thanks, coach. I appreciate you. Don't go nowhere, coach.
Yeah.
Hang back with me real quick. Hey,
Mhm.
peace and love, y'all.